Hello guys, hello! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariam and welcome to Healthy Habits. As you saw by the title, we are going to talk about the importance of going to personal development events. Well, to listening personal development in general, you already know, I already talk about this a million times, but especially going to those events like in person, you being there physically, it's another energy that honestly with words I can't explain, but I'm gonna try. So myself, I've been to few events and it's life-changing. I'm gonna try to describe it with words, but it's life-changing. And I just came back from another event which was in another country, and by the time this out, I think you'll already seen the vlog. It was very, very exciting, and you'll see there how excited I was and just being there and feeling the energy, and it was crazy. But let's start from the beginning. So why it's important to let's start with listening first. So why it's important to listening, I know I've talked about this a million times, but I think before even going to those events, right, personal development events, you need to start listening to those events too. Because if you jump right in, like to going to those events in person, I'm not gonna lie, it might be weird. You might get bored. You might don't understand why you're there or what's happening around you. But if you listen first, if you know already your mentors, if you've already found your mentors, it's much, much easier to be there because you know that you're going to see your mentors. You know that you have a purpose why you go there. So I would suggest that if you don't do it now, just listening, finding you on YouTube, it's completely free. If you already have Spotify, you can find so many great podcasts there. I always tell about Ed Milet, Andy Frisella. Honestly, those two on Spotify, especially, I listen the most. Those two are, for Andy Frisella, it's more like business-wise, and Ed Milet, it's any other areas of my life. I can't, at this point in my life, I can't imagine my life without listening to them at this point. So once you find your mentors and once you find the platform or wherever you want to listen, you'll see some changes, whether in your habits, the way you think, the way you interact with others, just overall your well-being, it will completely change. I can't imagine me not listening to personal development, me not applying what I've listened, me not working on myself. By working on yourself, I always tell, by that I mean listening to personal development, applying what you've learned, changing your habits so you can have healthy ones. It's because honestly, the number one thing, the big notice, the big change you will see once you start doing it, of course, it's not going to happen the next day, but like over time, you'll see changes that will help you to just live a happier life after all. I know that it's not anyone's cup of tea to listen to personal development, to go to those events. It's only like, I don't know, 1%, not even like, I don't know at this point. And I know that this video, it's not for everyone. I understand that. But if you want to get better, if in your head, in your voice and in your mind, some voice is telling you that you should get better, you need to get better, you want some change, you want to be uncomfortable, or if you are already uncomfortable, that's a good sign. That's when change happens usually. That's a good sign. That's the time that you use to your advantage. That's the time that you need to find your mentors. That's the time that you need to change your habit. That's when change happens. And you listening to personal development or assisting in person to personal development can literally help you to navigate your life, whatever you're going through. Not much easier, but you understand more of a meaning of things that are happening to you or for you. I can't imagine my life without me listening to personal development anymore. It's like when you start doing it, you can't stop. It's never enough. You get addicted to it. You get addicted to learning more, to applying more things in your life, to getting better, to becoming your better version. Because it's never enough. Never I'm gonna stay here, gonna come here and tell you guys, well, I'm already the best version of myself. It's enough. Like, we don't do any more healthy habits videos. Like, it's not gonna happen because it's not the truth. It's never enough. So step 1, it's to listening personal development. But if you don't do it yet, it's a good start. Don't try to jump in those events or, because you're not gonna get it. But once you listen enough of time, once you listen to your mentors, then you see the value. Then you see that it's worth it. Then you see that it's worth literally traveling, I don't know how many hours to another country to see your mentors so you can learn, you can see more things, you can feel the energy. But step 1, if you're not doing already, working on yourself by listening, by reading books or listening to podcasts, it's number 1. Once you do it, or when you've done that enough, then you can try to see like which events are going in your city, in your local areas, in your city, and then you can think about traveling. Unfortunately, where I live in Montreal, there is not much going on. I mean, yes, there are events from specific niches, I don't know, but not like about, mindset, not that much. Maybe, I don't know, if you're hosting or if you know some, events, let me know, DM me or put that in the comments. I will help. I will be happy, more than happy to go out to assist, to come and support. But there is not that much, especially about mindset and personal development. There's not that much. And that's unfortunate because I'm like, should I even host in the future? Like, would even people be interested? I don't know. But when I came to US, whether it's Florida or California or any other state, it's different. Like, you have so many events there. If you live there, you are so lucky. And I don't know why you don't take advantage of it, because there's so many events happening there in person. I mean, online you can find, but like in person, so many events. If if I would live in LA or in Florida, in California, I would probably go to those events monthly. I'm not even joking. And then it would become weekly. I know myself. And you're like, yeah, but I can't afford to go to those things, afford to go to those events, yet alone travel to see my mentors. I understand, and that's why step 1 is to listening first. YouTube, it's free. Spotify, if you have it already, why don't get advantage of it? I mean, people listen to music 24/7 with Spotify, but you can do so much more than just listening to your favorite music, which is important too, but, well, it depends which kind of music, but you can find so many great podcasts there as well. If you still are thinking, but I still can't afford, well, if you really want something, you will find a way where you can save, where you can cut out, where you can spend less. Like, there's always ways. It's an investment. You need to think like as an investment, not as a dispense, because it is an investment when you go to those events. If you see it like not as an investment, those events, of course it's going to be hard to find a way. If you listen to your friends, if you listen to your family, which they will be thinking that you are crazy if you tell them that you want to go travel just to see that event. Of course they're going to think you're weird. Of course they're going to think that why you need to go over there? You can listen to them online. You can do this online. You can do that online. And that's okay. At this point in my life, it's okay. It's okay that no one else understands me but myself. No one else understands me but the people that are in the same room when I go to those events, because they've made as well the choice to be there at that moment, at that hour, at that day. They understand, of course they do, because they are there. But other people, even if they love you so much, if they want to support you so much, they might not understand. And it's completely fine. Your journey, it's not someone else's journey to understand. Your journey, you need to understand. You know what's the best for you. You need to know, should you go, should you don't go. It's up to you. Most of people didn't know, why am I going there? And it's completely fine. Why should they know? Once I'm there, once it's done, then they'll know. Why everyone should know. And yes, I know I vlogged it, but I knew that I'm going to post it after the event is done. So no one else can put their voice in my head. Why am I doing? Why I'm going? Why? Because trust me, even myself, the day that I purchased, just before, or the same day that I purchased the tickets, or the day that I woke up to purchase the tickets, I was still having that voice in my head. Not because it's not worth it. It's just I was like, I am gonna go over there. Like, I'm gonna travel. It wasn't really about the event, but it was about like traveling, all those time and effort to put. And then I was like, Mariam, wake up. You are gonna love it. You know that. But still, again, even myself, I did have that voice telling me, should you do it? It's really, really worth it. Still had that voice in my head. And then I woke up. I was like, I don't know. My family was asking me like, okay, are you gonna go? What's happening? Like, I'm like, I don't know. And their response? They were like, you're gonna go. Why you're telling us you don't know? I'm like, that's a good thing that on, external environment, I look like someone that, is determined and is gonna do what she wants to do. That's good. But at the same time, really, really had that voice in my head, which I am very, very happy that I didn't listen to. Sometimes your voice, and I know that we're like, oh, you need to listen to your intuition, but sometimes it gets confused. What is it, the intuition, or is it just a voice that wants to be comfortable, doesn't want any change? So be careful to not mix it up, because sometimes it's not your intuition, it's just your voice telling you, you know what, I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable in my bed. I don't want to get up. I don't want to spend all this money. I don't want to jump in a plane for a few days and come back. I don't want to do those things. So just be careful to not mix it up. Anyway, back to the importance of those events. So step 1, I've already talked. Start small, listening, and then if you can't afford, see local places that they have, or do everything so you can save and because it's an investment, so you can assist. But if you are listening to personal development, if you can afford, again, I don't have words, but it's crazy, because once you're there, it's like, even they told us it's your guys' Super Bowl. It is our Super Bowl. And it's crazy that every single person that was there, it's because they wanted to get better. Can you imagine that? I don't know how many people were there, 1,000? I don't know. But can you imagine that? They were there because they wanted to get better. They chose to not be on social media, not to go on restaurants. It was a work day too, so probably they took a day off for the event as well. So they chose to be there. They chose to get better. It's one thing when you are seeing that online. It's another thing when you are in that room with people around you that have the same interest in you. They've probably all listened to At My Led. They've already probably, well, I didn't even tell you which event it was. So, for example, the event that I went, it was from Growth Day. So it's the app that Brendan Bouchard made. And he's my high performance coach, of course, but also At My Led, it was one of the guests. So both of them together, of course, I'm going to go. That's why I was there. Almost everyone there listened to the same mentors that I am listening. And it was honestly, it felt good to see people that whoever I've talked to, they were amazing. And it was great to see that they listen the same people that I do. They have the same interest that I do. They want to get better and better version of themselves that I do. It's another feeling that I can explain. It's like seeing and meeting someone that has the same, same activities, where they're loving basketball, football, and you're talking about it, or some kind of movies that you like, books. It's the same feeling, honestly. The energy that you feel, it's insane. And you know that people that are there, they want to get better, and that gives me hope as well, that not everything is lost, that there are people that want to get better. It's just, unfortunately, in my environment, I have a hard time to find those people. It's because I didn't put myself in the right rooms. And that's what I'm trying to change with those events. I need to be in a room that people want to get better. I am tired of being in wrong rooms. I am tired. As they say, if you're the fittest in the room, or if you're the smartest in the room, you are in the wrong room. And I'm not telling you that about myself. There are lots of fit and lots of smart people, but I just told you as an example, I'm tired of being in the wrong rooms. And by going there, I prove to myself and I show to myself that those right rooms exist. I just need to knock, and go there and enter. One of the things that, yes, you feel the energy, yes, you meet great people, but also you notice things that you didn't notice before. You notice things with speakers that you didn't notice before. I think even in the vlog, I tell you guys that their eyes, it was so much, there was so much care in their eyes. So much love in their eyes that online you don't see, or when you listen to their voice you don't hear necessarily, or when you see them online on YouTube or wherever you don't see it necessarily. They cared, and it made sense. It made sense to me why they're successful as they are, because they care. They care, which I wouldn't realize this if I didn't go. Their eyes were screaming. I literally saw them emotional multiple times, the speakers. I saw how the public was cherishing them. Even the eyes of, people around me were different. It's a feeling that you can't feel if you assist online. It's a feeling that you can't experience online. You need to be in that room. You need to feel the energy. You need to see with your eyes, their eyes, like, you need to see it in person. So that's another thing why it's important to assist in person. Another thing that I've noticed is that you're not distracted when you're there. Again, it's not necessarily the things that they tell you during those events. Of course, it can change your life. As I always say, you're one decision, one moment away to completely changing your life. But it's not only that. It's also when they tell you something, another idea can pop up into your head, or another thought can pop up in your head, and everything can change. An example that I can give it to you. So I think I've talked about on the vlog, but an example that I can give it to you at my LED was talking about fears and how we can reframe them. And at that moment, of course, I was listening, I was taking notes, I'm gonna apply it, I'm already applying it. But at the same time, I don't know why, I don't know how, another thought came into my mind that I need to stop being hard on myself, which I've talked about this before. I don't know, on episodes or vlogs for sure. I need to stop being so hard on myself. And is it related? Maybe some people will see like correlation between those two, but in my head, at that time, it wasn't related to. It just came up when I was sitting there. And again, I was listening to him, but at the same time, I had that thought. I was like, I need to stop being hard on myself. I think since that moment, I stopped. Not stopped, but it's getting better. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it's getting better. Now, if I'm really, really exhausted, and that day, if I worked a lot, worked out, day-to-day chores, if I've edited 4 hours, if I posted the video, if I am way too exhausted to post a reel, I give a permission to myself to not do it. Because I've done all of those things during one day. I performed, in my opinion, for me, very well that day. I give the permission to post that day a short or a reel. Now, but the videos 3 times, it's another thing because it's only 3 times. With that, and with my job, and with YouTube, I wanted to post like every single day on social media as well, with editing and everything else, and filming. And I told myself, no, this can't be my reality. If it's scheduled before and it's every day for a week or 2, fine, it's scheduled already. But if it's not, I'm not going to torture myself just so I can post something just because I wanted to do that. Now, it's not me being lazy because I've done all of those things prior. I'm not talking about, one day I woke up and I didn't want to show up at all. No. Either I'm filming, either I'm editing, or either I'm posting. It's one of the other, or sometimes three during the same day. So it's not like I'm taking a day off. It's just I'm prioritizing where I want to put my energy and where it's worth to put my energy. So that's a quick example that I wanted to give it to you. So yeah, that's the thing that you notice things about, and there's the thought that can come up and that thought came up because I was sitting there, I was focusing on the person that we're talking, and also I wasn't distracting. I wasn't on my phone, I wasn't working, I wasn't doing this, I wasn't doing that. I was just listening. And that's when it came to my mind. Another eye-opening thing, we had like 15-20 minutes to talk, people around us, and we needed to ask some few questions that one of the speakers told us to do. There was a question that, again, was eye-opening for me because it was there, how people can help you. And the answer that I gave to my, to the people around me was that the thing that I need the most help with, it's actually to ask help. How to ask help. And I was, telling them a little bit more background and more story that why I want to do everything myself. And then, of course, they know about the word of the year, which I'm going to talk about another separate video, but they were like, oh, maybe the word of your year could be asking for next year. And I was like, I'm like, this year was peace. And I'm like, I already knew what's going to be the next one for the next year, which would be focus. And then I was like, that made me realize that I'm like, what if my word was just asking, so I can ask more. Not like in a desperate way, but like when I actually need help, I can ask for help. And yeah, that I took notes, that made me thinking, and if I wasn't on that event, I wouldn't be having that advice or that recommendations from another person that works on themselves too. And one last thing, why it's important to assist, because yes, you notice things from speakers, but also you notice things from people around you. So again, I've talked about this on the vlog. There was a man there in her 60s or 70s that was taking notes the whole day, and it was like from the morning until like 7:30 p.m. and he inspired me so much. I was seeing him taking notes, and I told him at the end, like, you inspire me, good job for being here. And at the same time, I was realizing what's my excuse of not being here. What's other people's excuses? He literally, I'm sure he has lots of responsibility. Can you imagine being on your 60s and 70s and one day you were waking up and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to that event, to personal development, because I want to become better. I want to become a better version of yourself. It's like, it's never enough. It made me realize that it's never enough. And what's my excuse? If a person in his 60s, 70s, 80s was there, why you weren't? Why I've had the thought, should I go, should I don't go? Working on yourself, it's never enough. And I'm not telling you that you need to be hard on yourself 24/7, but it's not enough. And people that they are not doing it, that's why I can't understand people that don't work on themselves. I'm like, oh, okay, so you really think that you have all things figured out. In the meanwhile, people that are 60s, 70s, 80s and plus are in that event and they're working on themselves, and you're telling me that you know everything, it's enough, everything is perfect in your life. Again, it's not that I'm judging, because I was that person once upon a time when I just didn't know that I can work on myself. Because when I knew I can work on myself, I started. It's different. It's different when you just don't know the benefit, when you don't see any other people talking about it, when you're not in that environment, when you don't follow the right people. It's one thing when you just don't know the benefit. It's another thing when you're watching this or other videos that are telling you the importance and you don't do it. That's a completely different story. That's on you. That's on you, because now you know the importance. There are people, especially nowadays, especially these past few years, who literally can show you the benefits, can show you with their journey the growth. You can see literally with your own eyes the growth, and you choose again after this all to not work on yourself, to don't work out, to eat garbage, and you're wondering why your life is not changing. Your life is not changing because of your habits. Your life is not changing because you chose comfort over uncomfortable situations. That's why your life is not changing. Your life is not changing because you prefer to go party and drink and smoke rather than go to those events. You choose rather to spend money on things that you don't need than rather going and working and investing on you, whether it's personal development event or having a coach or having a fitness coach or having a whatever thing, or reading books, buying books. You chose that life. You chose the other life. You didn't choose the right path. You chose the other path. That's why your life is not changing. Your life is not changing because you chose to go on a Saturday, on a party, what you are celebrating. I'm not talking about anniversary or birthdays or whatever. If you every weekend you go to party, what are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? And then the next day you complain that your life is not the same, it's not getting better. You feel jealousy, you feel that you want to gossip, complain about life. What are you celebrating? Oh, but like my friends are gonna judge me if I don't go. Oh, but this person gonna judge me if I don't do this. Oh, this person gonna do. Who cares? It's your life, it's not theirs. If your friends don't work on themselves, if your friends have bad habits and because of them, you are having bad habits, I don't blame your friends, I blame yourself. Because you choose to be around them. You choose to wake up to see them. You choose to wake up and go to party. You choose to wake up and drink. It's not them. You choose to wake up and not work out. So stop blaming other people instead of blaming yourself. I chose this life. I chose to work on myself, not other people. That's why if you don't feel right now in your gut, in your head, in your mind, if you don't feel that you're in the right room, you need to change those rooms. That's why I was talking about the rooms a few minutes earlier. Be careful who you surround with, because yes, it's your fault. But sometimes you don't realize that it's yours, so you blame others. But once you work on yourself, you know that it's you. You know that it's not them. I hope the best for them and just move on. We are always trying to save people, save others. Oh, but this person is depressed and we need to go to party. So he knows. What about you? Who's going to think about you? Think about you first and then about others. Because if you don't think about yourself, nobody will. If you don't care on yourself, nobody will. If you don't work on yourself, if you don't open a book, if you don't put on Spotify something that can teach you something, nobody will for you. You'll have the same life, the same quality life that you want to escape. The change happens here. It doesn't happen here around you. It's here first, and then your actions will follow. Anyway, guys, I hope this episode, it was a long one than usual, but I hope this episode helped you to realize things that maybe you didn't know, but now you know. Now you can tell that, oh, I didn't know how important it is to go to those events. Oh, I didn't know how important it is to personal development, because if you listen to this, now you know. Now it's up to you. Choose wisely so you don't have regrets later on. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And believe me, more stories will come and what I've learned on this event. Of course, I'm going to share, but this video was particularly on why it's important to just listening personal development in general and also going to those events. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe and also ring the bell so you don't miss any healthy habits. But before you go, don't forget Don't give up for just one more day. Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon.